As a kid, all a nigga wanna have was a Burberry scarf and $3 in my pocket. Instead I got beat with a switch, but I don't give a fuck, but it's on my body. Scars all up on me, but I run around from everybody. Life lesson learned, I better learn from this bitch, nobody. She pushed me around, she didn't give no motherfucks about it. She broke my heart 3 times, but I ain't getting...
The first game that I want to talk about number 18th ranked Michigan traveling on the road to face Minnesota, who is currently ranked 21st in the nation. Now, I believe that this is a must-win game for Michigan. Michigan must win this game. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, JT, how is this a must-win game for Michigan when their season just started? This is going to be the first game that Michigan has played this season. And the reason why I feel like this is a must-win game for Michigan is because there is a lot of pressure, I believe, on head coach Jim Harbaugh. A lot of Michigan fans are ready to part ways with Jim Harbaugh because they feel like Michigan should be competing for Big Ten championships and should be competing for a college football playoff spot. And so far over the last couple of years, Jim Harbaugh simply hasn't really been able to get this Michigan football program to that next level. It's like Michigan has, Jim Harbaugh, when he got hired at Michigan, he brought back that Michigan football program to relevancy. Okay? But now it's time to take that next step. And if you're a Michigan fan, you're wondering to yourself, when is that next step going to come? Okay, because Michigan is just right there. Now they got to reach that next level. And it looks like Jim Harbaugh is kind of struggling to get Michigan to that next level where they should be competing for Big Ten championships and for a spot in the college football playoffs. So, I mean, if Michigan loses this game, think about all of the backlash that Jim Harbaugh is going to face from the media when he wakes up Sunday morning. Okay, it is a lot of pressure on Jim Harbaugh this season. And this is why I feel like this is a must-win game for Michigan, because if Michigan wins this game, they're going to start their season off with a really good win against what I believe is still a really good Minnesota Gophers team. And they're going to walk into next week or in the next game that they play with a lot of momentum and a lot of confidence. But meanwhile, if Michigan loses this game, woo! It is going to be an incredibly long season. So I would hate to be in Jim Harbaugh's shoes if Michigan loses this game. Now, Michigan has a new quarterback who is going to be starting called Joe Milton. Now, Joe Milton is 6'5", 243 pounds. And, of course, anytime you see a quarterback that has these measurables, 6'5", over 240, the Cam Newton comparisons come to the table. And I can understand why people say Joe Milton could be the next Cam Newton, because this guy has a rocket for an arm. This guy may have one of the best arms, if not the best arm in college football. I've seen some people say he's like a mixture of Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes put together. He has a lot of athleticism as well. He can run pretty good. But the knocks on Joe Milton are his decision making and his accuracy. And I want to see how he performs in his first ever college football start against a really good Minnesota Gophers team. Okay? So, I mean, under new offensive coordinator Josh Gaddis, who is going in, well, I can't really call him new, but I mean, this is his second year as the OC for Michigan. Okay? I want to see what he's able to do with this new quarterback in Joe Milton, because another reason why Michigan hasn't really been able to get to that next level has been because they've been held back by the quarterback situation. Now, you have to deal with Shea Patterson, and Shea Patterson, it was like a mixed bag when you watch Shea Patterson play. I mean, you see some good, but you also see a lot of bad as well. So now Michigan fans finally get to see a new quarterback. And from what I've been reading on Bleacher Report and all these other foreign websites, a lot of Michigan fans are really excited about Joe Milton, but you have pretty modest expectations, because I've been seeing a lot of Michigan fans saying, hey, I'm excited about Joe Milton, but I'm not trying to get my hopes up incredibly high because I had my hopes up for Shea Patterson. I got disappointed. So, I mean, I'm really excited to see Joe Milton play against his Minnesota Gophers team. Now, for Minnesota lost a lot on defense. I have a big concern when it comes to this Minnesota Gophers defense, because last year, I mean, you had Carter Coughlin, you had Antoine Winfield, you had a lot of guys that are now playing in the NFL from that Minnesota defense last year. So it is going to be a lot of new faces on this Minnesota Gophers defense heading into this game. I want to see how this defense performs. I also want to see, is Minnesota going to be able to get pressure on Joe Milton. Because last year, I don't think Minnesota was all that great when it came to getting pressure on the quarterback. Like, I think their secondary was the reason why their defense was so good and their linebackers. But when it came to getting a good pass rush, they weren't really all that great in that department. So I want to see, is their pass rush going to improve from last season to this year? Now, this offense, on the other hand, is still going to be really good. Now, I know you lost Tyler Johnson. You lost, a couple of halfbacks. But, I mean, this is still a really good offense. You have Rashad Bateman, who is either, depending on how you look at it, the best wide receiver or the second best wide receiver, who is going to be eligible for the 2021 NFL Draft. So you got him coming back. He opted out a couple of months ago, but now he opted back in. So you got him back. You still have Tanner Morgan, who is still one of the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten. And you have one of the best offensive lines, not only in the Big Ten, but in college football, point blank period. I think that Minnesota may have the best offensive line in the Big Ten. Now, I know a lot of Ohio State fans are probably going to disagree with me if you're watching this video. But, I mean, when you look at Minnesota's offensive line, they have a lot of experience. They have incredible size. A lot of people who are playing on this Minnesota Gophers offensive line are going to be playing on Sundays. This is a really good offensive line. They have experience. They have talent. They also are really big. They have incredible size. So, I mean, I'm really excited to see how this Minnesota offensive line fares against this Michigan defense. Because one thing about Michigan, although their offense has been pretty up and down, their defense has always been pretty good. So, I mean, when you look at Michigan, the question for Michigan is going to be Joe Milton. How is Joe Milton going to perform in this game? And the question for Minnesota is going to be, how is your defense going to perform? Because your offense should pick up from where it left off last season. Although you did lose a couple of guys in the NFL, like I said earlier, you still have one of the best offensive lines in college football. You have a really good quarterback in Tanner Morgan. And, I mean, you have a really good coach in Flex. So, I mean, like, I'm really excited about this game, man. Like, for Minnesota, this is also a really big game for them because Minnesota is a team that doesn't really get a lot of national recognition. So, I mean, when you're playing this primetime game, you have game day coming. This Saturday. I mean, Minnesota, if they're able to win this game, imagine how big of a win this would be for this program, getting a big primetime win when everybody in America is going to be watching. And, I mean, this could also help recruiting as well, have a big impact on recruiting. So, I mean, this is a really big game for both of these two teams. It's a big game for Minnesota because this is a primetime game. They're playing in the national spotlight. If they win this game, this could bring extra publicity and more attention to their football program. Now, Michigan wins this game, then they could start their season out on the right foot. But if they lose, then, I mean, this is going to be a long season for Michigan fans and a long season for head coach Jim Harbaugh. So the team that I'm taking to win this game, I am going to take Michigan to win this game. And it pains me to say that I got to take Michigan because I love Minnesota. Like, Minnesota is one of my favorite college football teams. I'm a Miami Hurricanes fan, but I love rooting for Minnesota. But I have to take Michigan to win this game because, I mean, although Michigan has a new quarterback in Joe Milton, I trust this offense and the talent that they have offensively to be able to put points on this Minnesota defense because I don't really trust Minnesota's defense. It's a lot of new faces. Yeah, they have a couple of guys who are returning, but in all honesty, I don't really know if Minnesota's defense is going to be all that great. So, I mean, I got to take Michigan. I think that Michigan should be able to win this game. Now, I also wouldn't be surprised if Minnesota is able to pull off the upset because Minnesota is favored to win this game by 1.5. But I think the reason why the spread in this game is so low is because Vegas thinks that these two teams going in have a lot of question marks, and they don't really know how they feel about both of these two teams, which is the same mindset I have going to this game. Like, I love Michigan's defense and I love Minnesota's offense, but I have a little bit more confidence in Michigan that they're going to be able to get the job done. This is a must-win game for Michigan, even though this is week 1. A lot of pressure on Jim Harbaugh. He needs to win this game. I think Michigan should be able to go ahead and get the job done, and I think Michigan wins 34-28 is my final score prediction in this game. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Minnesota pulls out the victory, but I just trust Michigan's offense to be able to get the job done against Minnesota's defense. Like I said, Minnesota has a lot of new faces on defense that we don't really know about. And I know a lot of Minnesota fans going to be like, oh, we got this guy coming. We got this guy starting. This guy's like a 4-star. This guy's really good. Like, listen. A player isn't good just by his name. I got to see how a player performs on the field in real game action. So, I mean, I'm rooting for Minnesota to win this game. But ultimately, if I was a betting man, I would have to bet my money on Michigan to pull off the victory here. So, I'm taking Michigan.